Welcome to the Unesh Value Train. As far as opening hand goes, yeah, I love it. You know, we don't have a lot of you definitely want to have a lot of artifact ramp if you're playing Unesh, or if you're going to be flying that space train into outer space. But having high tide to get that down a little bit quick, yeah, I think I like that. We can make that work. Let's go and get the island down for the turn, and then anything else, we're going to go and pass turn our opponent. We are playing Unesh, Cryosphinx Sovereign, the official driver of the value train into outer space, where you're encouraged to follow your dreams. Flying, Sphinx Chelsea cast costs 2 less to cast, and then whenever Unesh or another Sphinx enters the battlefield under your control, reveal the top 4 cards of your library. An opponent separates those cards into 2 piles, put 1 pile into your hand, then the other pile into your graveyard. I'm just not remembering, I never put a... I always forget to put a graveyard shuffler in the deck to shuffle our graveyard back in if the space train gets going a little bit too fast, because that does happen sometimes. It's a little bit crazy. It's going to get down island, and then anything else, we're going to go and pass the turn. Play gets Azusa, Lost But Seeking. You may play 2 additional lands on each of your turns, and if we're keeping up with the times, typically a lot of these Azusa decks tend to be... It's pretty cutthroat Eldrazi deck, so hopefully we can get the space train past these Eldrazi, and then we'll be following our dreams in no time. Make sure the Eldrazi don't follow their dreams of destroying all of our stuff, too. Now, we do have Commandeer in the hand. Exile 2 blue cards in your hand rather than pay it. Gain control of target non-creature spell. Get to choose new creatures, choose new targets for it. And actually, I'll kind of talk about that one here in just a second. So, see what we draw into. Ooh, we're drawn to Force of Will. I like that a lot. It's going to get down island. Yeah, let's simply just go ahead and pass the turn to our opponent. Now, with Commandeer, there's some videos in the Unesh videos where I don't go for Commandeer because I think it's bugged sometimes. So gain control of target non-creature spell. If it's an artifact, champion, or planeswalker, enters the battlefield under your control. I've tried to do that before, and I discarded 2 cards, and it didn't work, and I was like, man, I must have done something wrong. So if you see me not go for Commandeer until we're at a really good point in the game to really take advantage of that. Life gift, whenever land enters the battlefield, you gain 1 life. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, we can make that work. We're looking at high tide next turn. But yeah, long story short, Commandeer was bugged last time I used it, so I'm not going to use it until we just have a just an embarrassment of riches in the hand to exile blue cards with that one. So that's kind of what we've got going on. Let's go and get the island down. Let's go ahead and go for high tide. And actually, does that count towards our opponent whenever yeah, they're going to get some good life gain off of that. That's pretty good. And let's go ahead and get down a turn 4 Unesh. It's going to be 1 off of that, then 1, 2, 3. Let's go and tap out for Unesh, get that down, get that Fact or Fiction going, and then let's see how they want to split this one up. Either way they split this up, it's going to be pretty good for us. It's 2 islands, a mana rock, and then we also have Manama, which is going to allow us to untap Unesh and kind of start to go from there. But let's see how they want to go for it. Okay, on this one, we're going to go and choose pile 2 on this one. I like getting those into the hand, and then we're going to go and pass the turn to our opponent. Now, we're actually sitting really good. This is exactly how you want Unesh to kind of play out. You want to get down Unesh really quickly, either through some mana rocks, or we're able to use high tide to our advantage to kind of get it onto the battlefield with that extra mana. I'm just going to go for Courser of Kruphix. Yeah, I'm actually going okay. I'm okay with going Force on this one. We're going to pay 1 life, counter Courser of Kruphix, and let's go and get rid of Commandeer at this point right now. Yeah, if they have the top part of their library, especially with the Azusa, that is just bad news bears for us, to the fact that they can really start churning through their library with that one. So I'm okay with going Force of Will on Courser of Kruphix. And their opponent's simply going to tap out and then pass the turn with that mana. All right, see what we draw into. Drawn to island. Let's go and get island down. Their opponent's going to gain 1 life. Now, we can go for Prognostic Sphinx if we wanted to. Let's go and swing in for 4, though. It's going to knock our opponent down to 29. And then let's go ahead and do this. We can't go for Prognostic Sphinx. Let's go ahead and go for Thought Vessel. Let's go ahead and dump our hand out. Let's go for Jace, tap out for 1 more, and then we're going to go and pass the turn to our opponent. So it still kind of leaves up Counterspell Magic, or at least we can represent Counterspell Magic. But if not, we can go for Prognostic Sphinx next turn. And they kind of start to go for that. Now, Unesh does give that really good reduced cost on some of these Sphinxes. So if you've played Unesh before, or you haven't seen it before, if you haven't seen Unesh before, I should say, excuse me, one of the big things you want to do in your Fact or Fiction piles is, if you can help it, you always want to end up with some sort of Sphinx in your hand. As you can tell right now, we're kind of getting a little bit low on resources in the hand. We've only got 2 islands, so once we get down Prognostic Sphinx, we kind of want to keep that chain going by making sure that we at least end up with a Sphinx in our hand, to make sure that we always are going to be able to kind of go for that Fact or Fiction. Opponent's going to go for Nissa, enter the battlefield, search your library for Force, put it onto the battlefield. And that should get Nissa to flip. Yeah, Nissa's going to flip off of that one. Now, as far as next turn goes, we do have Jace. We can draw a card, then discard a card. There are 5 more cards in our graveyard. We're going to get Jace to flip. So what we can do on this one is, once we end up going for that loot, that allows us to kind of dig a little bit deeper. Oh, yeah, there we go. Ulamog on top of our opponent's library. I think that's what it was. Reveal the top card of your library if it's a land, otherwise put it in your hand. So we've got Ulamog coming down pretty soon. Hopefully we can kind of find a way to get around that one. It's not uncounterable, so hopefully we can find the counter spell. We can stop it, but they're still going to go and get that cast trigger, though. All right, drawn to island. Let's go and go for Jace activation. Let's go and discard island. That's going to get Jace to flip. What we can do is if we want to go for High Tide, we can go for the -3 on High Tide. That's going to be prognostic. Let's see how explosive of a hand we can get going. I think that sounds good. Let's go and swing in with Unesh first, though. Let's go and swing in at Nissa. That's going to take care of Nissa, and they will be looking at about 7 total mana from our opponent. So we don't have to worry about Ulamog just yet. But yeah, let's see how explosive of a turn we can get going. Let's go for the -3 off of High Tide. Let's go and get the island down. Opponent will gain a life off this one. Let's go and cast High Tide. And let's go and go for Wind Reader Sphinx. Actually, let's go for Prognostic Sphinx. That's going to be 1, 2, 3 off the Thought Vessel. Let's go and go for Pile 2. Yeah, that's some really good value. We'll go and choose Pile 2 on this one. Let's go and go for Wind Reader Sphinx. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, 6. Okay, once again, we're going to keep this value train going. So we're going to go choose Pile 2 on this one to make sure we get that going. And then anything else, we only have 3 mana available, so we can't go for Fact or Fiction or that. Anything else, no, we're going to go and pass turn to our opponent. Yep, kick it back over there. Now, we're in a really good spot at this point right now. We are looking at about 10 total damage. We're going to be able to swing it at our opponent. We do know that our opponent does have Ulamog in the hand. So once we get to the point where we can leave up Cryptic Command, at least we can go ahead and counter that Ulamog spell to make sure that it goes into the graveyard. They still will get that cast spell, like I mentioned earlier. Whenever you cast it, destroy target permanent. But at the end of the day, it's not too bad. We're going to see them probably go for Unesh or something like that, which is not the end of the world. We can still go and recast it since we've been making our land drops off of that. But the main thing is we want to get rid of that Annihilator. That Annihilator is always, Opponent's going to go for Ugin. Okay. That's going to take care of it. Let's see how they decide to go for the activation. That will require them to go for at least 6, off of 7 off that one. So it's going to make sure they have to exile. Yeah, 7's going to get rid of everything across the board on this. All right. And then Sapphire Medallion. Let's do this. Let's go and get down Homeward Path. And what we can do is we can actually draw a card off Cryptic Command, bounce that Extraplanar Lens back to the hand. And that's kind of going to force them to recast Extraplanar Lens to make sure we keep them off that Ulamog mana. Yeah, I think I like going for that. Let's go for Cryptic Command, return target permanent, draw a card. Drawn to island. Let's go and do this. Let's go and get down Sapphire Medallion. That's going to give us another reduced cost, kind of help us get back down Unesh, and then anything else we're going to go and pass turn to our opponent. Okay, an opponent's going to retap out for Extraplanar Lens, and then we'll see if they're going to still end up going for that Ulamog. Now, if they do end up tapping out for Ulamog, it's not the end of the world. Just short target permanent. Whatever sort of creature they get down, they'll go for that. So if we can somehow draw into some sort of counterspell to make sure we can get rid of that, that would definitely really help us kind of proceed into the rest of the game. But as far as next turn goes, we are looking at either going for Unesh or going for something like Fact or Fiction if we want to get that going. We'll see what we draw into, but more than likely we'll probably, because Unesh we've already cast at least once, so we're looking at 8 total mana. It's going to reduce costs. It's going to be 7. Yeah, let's see what we draw into, though. Okay, Sphinx of Magosi. Let's go and get Island down. Yeah, let's go and dig with Fact or Fiction. I think I like that. Yeah, let's go and dig with Fact or Fiction. I'd like to get some sort of counter spell on this one. It's going to be 1, 2, 3. Get a reduced cost off of the Sapphire Medallion. Oh, there we go. Disallow. Wonderful. And what we're going to choose Pile 1 on this one. This is a wonderful pile for us to take. Let's go and get down Monolith. That's going to be 1, 2, 3. And that'll still leave up, just enough to go for Ulamog off this one. All right, there we go. Not Ulamog, but leave up Disallow. Anything else, we're going to go and pass turn to our opponent. So we got down Monolith. We've kind of bounced back from our mana after Ugin wiped out the entire board or took out the entire space train. Now that we have Disallow, we can also go ahead and counter Ulamog to make sure we can kind of get around that Annihilator 4 trigger. And one of the good things about our opponent putting that Changeling in our pile is that it's going to allow us to tap out for 1 blue mana to get a Sphinx on the battlefield. I know that doesn't look like a Sphinx, it's a Changeling, but it's 100% a Sphinx. Just wanted to let y'all know that. So it's always fun to get to cast that one. All right, opponent's going to get the Ulamog trigger. I was going to go for Disallow on Ulamog. All right, going to take care of Ulamog. It's going to get shuffled back into the graveyard, and our opponent will destroy the Sapphire Medallion. Like I said, it's not the end of the world that did happen. We were able to get down Monolith and kind of go from there. All right, an opponent does pass the turn. No swing in from the Beast token. Ooh, and drawn to Panharmonicon. All right, let's see how much Unesh is going to cost. Unesh will cost 8 total mana, so it's going to be 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That'll be just enough, and then actually 13 with the island. There's nothing else that we need to do. Yeah, let's go and go for it. Let's go and tap out for Panharmonicon first. It's going to be tap out on Thought Vessel. Let's go and tap out on Unesh. It's going to be 8 total mana. And that'll leave us just 1 blue mana to go for the Amoeboid Changeling off this one. All right, we're going to get double Fact or Fiction off this one. If you're flying on the space train, the captain has turned on the buckle the seatbelt signs. We might be running into some unexpected value, so please buckle those seatbelts. All right, so let's go and take let's take pile 2 on this one. You get an additional Fact or Fiction pile going off Unesh. I don't know. I love being the. It's fun being the captain of the space train. I don't know. It's always good to follow your dreams. It's really important. Let's just go and take a lot of value. Well, actually, I kind of like. We've already got some good counter spells. So let's go and choose pile 2 on this one. That's going to give us some good repeated card. Let's go and go for a Amoeboid Changeling. That's going to be 1 blue mana. Be able to dig a little bit. Oh, this is just beautiful. We've got our very own Extraplanar Lens too. Oh, yes, let's go and choose pile 1 on this one, because we definitely have Metalcraft online, and that really allows us to kind of get some busted turns with Argent Sphinx. You know, just in case we need it, let's go and take Swan Song on this one. We're going to go and choose pile 2. Anything else? No, this is a really good turn. We're going to go and pass the turn to our opponent. But yeah, this is what the value train is designed to do. You know, we like to fly into outer space where you're encouraged to follow your dreams. And once we kind of get out there into deep space, we like to really kick it into overdrive. And you can see that we've gotten into about 50 cards into our library left, and our opponent's sitting at about 82. So we've gotten to see about 30 more cards than our opponent. And as you can tell, we've got a wonderful opening hand, and we've got answers for a lot of stuff. We'll see what our opponent's going to get it down, though. Maybe they got really lucky and drew into something. Opponent goes for Naturalizer. A little bit too late on that one. I'll take it, though. Did they re-get Ulamog? If they did, it's not the end of the world. We can get some more stuff down, but let's see what they're tapping out for. Garruk Primal Hunter, okay. All right, so opponent's going to go for Chord of Calling for 8. All right, let's see what that's... I guess that could be Craterhoof, but I don't think that's going to be... It's going to be 6 for each one. That's going to be 12. That'll be like 17. I don't think that'll be lethal if it's Craterhoof. Let's see what they search up. Alright, so our opponent goes for a copy, actually searches up Vorinclex. Whenever you tap a land for mana, add mana. And then what we can do is we can actually go for the Imposter to make a copy of that one. But one thing that would definitely be good is somehow bouncing that back to the hand. That way we're not locked under some sort of land drop. Okay, let's go and get Island down. Let's go and swing in Unesh. Yeah, because nothing has reach. That's correct. Yeah, nothing has reach. Just go and swing in Unesh at Garruk Primal Hunter. That way we can kind of take care of Garruk. And then we'll see exactly how we want to do this one. Like I said, Vorinclex is going to make sure that our lands don't untap next turn. We're looking at 2 mana to go for Vorinclex to kind of take care of that one. But that will give us that double mana that we really need. Yeah, let's go ahead and go for that. We could have it enter the battlefield as a copy of a Sphinx. It's going to miss out on that one. But getting that double mana will definitely kind of help us. That's going to be 1, 2... and then 3, 4. Okay, so we do have a copy of that one. Our lands are going to tap for double mana now. This is going to be 14 total mana. Let's go and get down Ardent Sphinx. That way, we want to be just a little bit cautious with this one. That's going to be 1, 2... There we go. Go and get that down. That way we can still go and leave up stuff like Stubborn Denial and Remand on our opponent. Not worry about our lands untapping. You know, let's go and grab pile 2 because we have tons of lands in the hand. Anything else that we need to go for, we can actually cast that... going for Saskia if we wanted to. Let's just go and pass the turn to our opponent. That's going to allow us next turn to end up with at least 12 total mana to really kind of push that across next turn. And maybe we might have enough to kind of go for lethal, or if we simply just flash an Elder Deep Fiend to kind of go for that. We'll see our opponent wants to split the turn up, though. We're definitely online for Stubborn Denial and Remand if we want to go for that, and also Swan Song. All right, opponent's going to scoop it up, and that is going to be a value win on that one. I will take it. It always feels good to beat Azusa. I'm not going to lie. I think my win percentage against Azusa is always in the neighborhood of like 0%. It's always just like tons of Eldrazi. But to get to an Azusa opponent to scoop against you, I will definitely take it. That will be a win in our book. We're not necessarily over just yet, but definitely the game's kind of shifting over our tide. And one of the things that really kind of happens with Unesh is that you get to this point where you just have so much stuff in your hand, so many answers for so many things, that most of the time you're going to get an opponent to scoop on this one. As you can tell, I always like to tell how much we can win in Unesh back. How far we dug into our library. We dug all the way down to 44 cards left. Our opponent was only sitting at about 80. So we almost got to see double the amount of cards that our opponent got to see. So sometimes it's going to lead to scoops like that one. But Unesh and I would definitely like to thank you for flying on the space train into outer space where you followed your dreams. Like I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of people out there that you could fly with and that you chose to fly with us. It means a lot. If you enjoyed your time on the space train today, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.